Raindrops fell against the windows of Raven's black Nissan Altima. "What am I doing?" she thought to herself as she watched droplets collect on her windshield. It was 11 o'clock at night, and she should have been at home getting the 8 hours of sleep she required simply to function as a human being. She had a massive meeting at 7 tomorrow morning, yet there she was, sitting outside Samantha's condo like some kind of fucking stalker. "I should leave." She said out loud, nothing good would come of this visit. But instead of starting up the car and taking off like she knew she should, she simply sat there, watching the rain fall and periodically looking up at the window in the very top left corner of the building. Staring at the window, she could practically smell the vanilla-scented candles that were always burning inside the loft whenever Samantha was home. Raven could practically feel the softness of the fuzzy rug beneath her feet. Closing her eyes, Raven could almost hear the whistle of the old-school tea kettle. "Why don't you get one of those electric kettles? You know, the ones that automatically turn off once the water's boiled," Raven suggested. Samantha made a face, one of disgust, causing Raven to laugh. "The one I have is perfectly capable of getting the job done," Samantha said in a matter-of-fact tone. Raven laughed yet again, throwing her hands up as Samantha rose up from the couch and headed into the small kitchen area of her loft. Rising up from the couch, Raven made her way to the kitchen. "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to offend," Raven said as she walked over to Samantha. Samantha let out a low hum, letting Raven know that she accepted her apology. Then, after dropping 2 tea bags into the waiting mugs, Sam poured water into each of their mugs. After a couple of drops of honey and lemon, the women made their way over to the couch and began talking. That night, they talked about everything from work to films, their childhoods, their straight days, as Sam liked to call them, and so much more. Still sitting outside of Sam's loft, Raven's heart ached as she reminisced on better days. Days when she and Sam didn't have to whip out their calendars every time they wanted to see each other. It was this, the constant penciling in of one another, that weighed heavily on them, and eventually led to the demise of their relationship. But as Raven sat outside Sam's building, the place that was like a second home to her, all Raven could think about were the good times. The sex, the laughter, the sharing of hopes and dreams. That's what Raven remembered. But that was it. It was all just memories now. As she leaned forward to start the car and take off, her phone rang. Leaning back in her seat, Raven picked up her phone from the cup holder and checked the screen. "Ah, shit," she said. Taking a deep breath, Raven composed herself before accepting the call. "Hey, stalker," Sam said, her tone light and playful. Raven's heart slammed against her ribcage as she let out a laugh. "I was just in the neighborhood and thought of you," Raven admitted. She hadn't expected to be so honest with Sam, not when she spent so much of the end of her and Sam's relationship lying to both herself and Sam, or at least trying to. "The door's unlocked. I'll turn the kettle on," Sam said. She didn't even wait for Raven's response before hanging up. "What the—" Raven ripped the phone from her ear, staring at it for a moment. Was she really going to do this? Could she do this? Ah, fuck it. Grabbing the umbrella that she always kept in her center console, she threw open the door and opened the umbrella. When she arrived at the door to Sam's building, Sam was already waiting, dressed in her headmaster robe, as Raven liked to call it, because of the way it flowed so gracefully behind her every time Sam walked. "Hi," Sam said, pulling Raven into the building and out of the rain. Sam dropped the open umbrella as she fell against Raven, causing the other woman to fall back against the wall. The women chuckled as their eyes met, brown mixing with bright blue. Raven rested her forehead against Sam's hands instantly finding the lapels of Raven's jacket. Sam pulled Raven closer, allowing Raven to feel the rapid thumbing of her heart. Thank God Raven wasn't the only one feeling excited and nervous. At least Raven hoped she wasn't. "I've missed you," Sam admitted. Well, this was new in the decade or so that Raven had known Sam. Raven had never known the other woman to be so forward, not when it came to her feelings at least. Raven smiled brightly, her chest warming at Sam's admission. Rather than saying anything, Raven leaned in and captured Sam's lips with her own. The hands of time stopped, and Raven felt like she was floating. The reason for their split was forgotten, as they were transported back to a time when life didn't ask so much of them, back when they were simply free to be young and in love. Sam tasted like red wine and popcorn, a combination which Raven knew to mean Sam had had a long day. Raven, too, had had a long day. A day filled with boring meetings and middle-aged white men in suits that believed that they deserved the world. And then some, simply because of the color of their skin and the fact that they had a penis. Before either woman could get too lost in the other, Raven pulled back from the kiss, panting a little as she rested her forehead against Sam's. "We should talk," Sam said. "No, please, not tonight. Tonight I just want to be with you," Raven said, shaking her head. Sam wanted to protest, but they had plenty of time to talk later. Crashing her lips into Sam's, Raven walked Sam back into her loft. After making their way upstairs, the women stumbled into Sam's warm bed. Soon, clothes began to fall as nails raked against backs, arms, and thighs. Now, this is how Raven preferred to spend a rainy day,